Defiance FM.
We can kind of go chronologically, but if we go off piece and we end up talking about something else,
okay,
that's absolutely fine.
So, do you want me? What shall I say? Shall I start it off, or?
Can I start with an observation?
Yes.
I've noticed, because I've been listening to all your stuff going right back to, is it 2018? Was that the first one
Roughly,
you
yeah.
put out? Was it Take Your Time? Was that the first single you put
I
out?
think it was, yeah, but I wouldn't even really call that a single.
It's interesting how your style has evolved over the years,
Yeah.
but your voice has been like the one constant. Like, your vocal range was obvious from that first track. So I just want to ask, have you always known that you could do that, or have you just discovered that your voice has that versatility?
I think it's just that versatility, because like even with the newest stuff I'm bringing out, like the next track I've got lined up, which is coming out around April time, that's completely different to anything I've ever done before, even a little bit moving away from the last track I did. But I think something that I've realised and noted is that when you've got, I suppose people do say it to me a lot, like quite a distinct voice, because people say to me, like, you know, I could walk through town, and because I busk a lot, they know it's me busking. They're like, oh, there's, you know, it's Daisy singing. Or on me tracks, like you could listen to me singing one track, but you'd still know it was my voice being like singing. So I think that's one thing that as an artist sometimes can give you a little bit of freedom, because if you have got something a little bit different or distinctive about your voice, then it does allow you to like not be stuck in a certain genre. So I think that's definitely, it's crazy that you've noted that, to be honest.
Because some people, obviously, they find a style and they stick with it. But I've noticed that it's almost like you've challenged yourself. It's like you don't know what's going to be coming next from Daisy.
Yeah, like I don't want to sit in and stay in one certain sound for too long, because I think versatility and it's important. And I think at the end of the day, I know people talk about like marketing and things like that, and like what is your brand, but me as a person, if you want to talk about branding, my brand values don't change. I'm still me. I still speak the same message. But I think when you can have the freedom to try new things, you don't know if you're going to love that or hate it. And if you never challenge yourself to try, then how are you ever going to know? And, you know, I could bring a song out and I don't know it. That could make me. It could be the best song I've ever done. But if I was too afraid to ever put it out because I'm like, oh no, I'm a country artist and I have to stick to that. You know what I mean? I think for me, I don't know if it's just because I've got ADHD as well, but like, I don't like to stare at one thing for too long. My mind's constantly racing. I'm constantly on to next things and thinking of different things. So I think for me, having that freedom to try different genres is important, because I love so many different genres of music and I don't listen to just one thing. And I don't think anybody listens to just one thing. And a lot of artists I look up to have never just done one genre, like for example Taylor Swift's one, but also like people like Paloma Faith or Ray. That was another example. Like Ray's just won like 6 Brits the other day, and her album has got a mixture of like R&B, jazz, dance influences, pop influences. So I think that just comes to show that as an artist, sometimes being fresh and trying new things could actually be the making of you.
And having faith in your audience to follow you and see where you're going to take things and see where you're going to go.
I think if people like want to back it and they want to support, I don't think that all right, you might lose some people if you're changing genres, but at the same time, you're going to gain people as well who go, oh, I love that, and that's right up my street. And then if you think about it, like you've got more people who, as a collective, go, oh yeah, I can vibe with this and I can vibe with that. And really what you're doing is you're just bringing more people together from different walks of life, who are, maybe one person really favors more of me pop stuff and some people favor more of like the jazzier, bluesier type of stuff I did in the earlier days. But I still sing those songs, and I still make it work in me sets when I do it live, so that I can incorporate it all.
And when you're in the studio, did I see that you self-produce a lot of your stuff?
Yeah, I've self-produced like 90% of my stuff. at the moment.
How did you learn? Because the production, even going right back to those early ones, the production's like it's changed over time. Like I can see that
Yeah.
you've developed your style, but it's always been good. It's always had a high standard.
Oh, thank you. To be honest, I didn't like, I'd say like Breaking Down the Walls, I didn't self-produce. Chris Taylor did that. That was like one of the earlier songs. And then Take Your Time was literally just myself and a guitar. So that wasn't really in my idea, like heavily produced or anything. But I really got into production in 2020. Oddly, when I was working with the producer and he was really flaky. He's a lovely guy, but he was so flaky. And he booked studio time in with me and then like ghost me for like a week. And I was like really stagnant and felt really like overwhelmed because I think in lockdown, like we felt like we couldn't do anything. And as a musician, that was like the worst thing. I felt like I couldn't be creative. I felt like I didn't have a creative outlet. So I downloaded GarageBand on my phone and I got an iPhone for the first time ever because my phone contract ran out. And I downloaded GarageBand and then I started making like little beats and stuff and like doing little bits on GarageBand. And then my mum got me a MacBook Pro and my old management at the time, they paid for me to get Logic Pro on my laptop. They paid for an interface for me, like a basic condenser mic and a pair of headphones. And that was me. I was just like, wow, I can now do this. And then I started learning how to use Logic. And then it kind of got better and better and better. And I'm still learning things and I'm still getting better. But I look at my first production to me newer productions and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely like improving in that scope.
Is it tricky though? Because normally when you work with a producer, as well as having all the technical knowledge, one of the things they do is they sort of filter out the artist's ideas and they say, okay, this bit's working really well. Not so sure about that bit. Maybe we can leave that on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously if it's just you, you've got to be the kind of judge and jury for every idea and you've got to decide
Yeah.
what makes the final cut.
I think I do make kind of good decisions in that respect because as well, my partner, he is a mixing engineer. So he mixes all my tracks and he's a producer himself. He's got his own thing going on. So because he mixes things, I always ask for his opinion. And just musical friends and people, if I'm unsure on an idea, because it is just me, I've got like loads of friends who are in music and do music or can throw bits on a track. And I'm like, what do you think on this? Do you think it needs this? Or do you think it's fine as it is? And I think that sometimes helps me stay grounded in my decisions in that respect as a producer. But half of the time, I'll be honest, like I go in with a track and I know what vibe I want to create. And I'm like, yo, this track needs this. And I can see the vision in my head. And I think that's the best thing that I ever did was learning those skills because I used to go into a studio previous to that and just have no clue and just like have to really be guided by the producer and I wouldn't
If
have
they
much
turn
say
up.
on things. Yeah, if they turned up. And I wouldn't have much say on things either because I didn't have that knowledge. And I think it's cheesy to say, but it's so true. Knowledge is power. And when you have that toolbox to be able to do that, it does really free you from that and it gives you those opportunities to actually create the things that you hear in here. Because I think as artists, 90% of the time, we know what we want our track to sound like. So it's being able to execute that and execute it well.
Yeah, I think the pandemic kind of sped a lot of that up, but it was already going that way anyway. That artists were starting to realize you can't always rely on other people. There's not always going to be a studio system that wants to support you. There's not always going to be a record label that's got your back. But
Yeah.
luckily, we live in an age where you can just get a condenser mic, you can download Logic, and you're away.
Literally, it's the best thing. I'm so happy with it.
Do you find yourself like tinkering with mixes and thinking, just one more layer, just one more track, just one more instrumental, one more little thing to the beat, or are you able to step away and say that one's done, that one's ready to go?
Sometimes I am, and then other times no. It depends. It really does depend, like base from base, like different tracks and stuff. But yeah, I think it is easy to kind of go over the top. Like there was one track I was working on that I haven't released yet called it's called I Don't Really Like You. I haven't brought it out yet. I don't know if I ever will bring it out, but I had so many that's one track that I'm really struggling with in terms of production where I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to get another producer on this one if I was to do it properly because it was like it sounded like very Mario Karty at one point. It went crazy. I was just adding shit, and I was like, "This sounds shit. What are you doing?" And then I stripped it right back, and it wasn't given what I wanted it to. So I was like, that was half the reason I brought out "Don't Want to Know," because I was going to bring "I Don't Really Like You" out, and I just couldn't get the production right the way I wanted it to be. So I was like, no, it'll have to go. It'll have to just go away for a bit. Maybe I'll never bring it out. Who knows? But yeah, I think though sometimes like when you're working with a track like that and you just can't get it right, it's like writer's block. It's sometimes best to just leave it for a while and then come back to it in a few months' time with maybe fresh ears and a new perspective, or again, maybe with a collaborator to maybe give you a fresh idea on it.
And are you someone who's got dozens of half-written songs sitting on the back burner, or do you tend to just go, right, one song and then it's done, next song, then it's
I've
done?
got so many songs. I've got so many fully written songs. I've literally got hundreds of songs, and I'm always writing. And then I've got half songs and like half ideas here where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that in the summer. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And then they never get done. And then I'm like, yeah, but I've picked out my singles for this year that I want to bring out, and then potentially another EP for 2025. I think. I don't know. I'm still working on that.
And when it comes to the live side of things, you mentioned that you do a lot of busking. I think I've seen you in town a few times.
Just singing my little heart out like that.
Yeah, I think I've seen you on a Saturday.
Probably right outside Mackey's usually.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, right outside Mackey's like that.
What's the response like when you don't? Because I like playing live music, but I have to feel like everyone's there for me. Do you know what I mean? I can't like to just do it to people who are passively walking past. That's quite a scary prospect. How do you find it?
People say that. I've done it since I was 16. Literally, like I left school. I had no friends. This is why I started busking, which is so sad. I had no friends when I left school, and I was so bored that summer because we finished in like May. You know, when you've just left school and you've done all your exams. I was like, what am I gonna do? So I went out with my guitar on Bold Street, and I went out busking, and I realised I could make some money for myself, a little bit of pocket money, and I was so delighted that I just never stopped.
That's
And
good.
that was the end of that. I just never thought about it at the time. I remember ringing my mum, literally when I was 16, going, "Mum, I'm going busking today," while she was in work, and she went, "You going what?" I went, "Yeah, I'm going busking today," and she just thought I was messing. And then she rang me and she's like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm on Bold Street, busking." She went, "What?" She went, "Have you made any money?" I was like, "Yeah, I've just made 80 quid. She was like, "Go ahead, girl, you go busking."
That's not bad. That's all right.
It wasn't bad. No, I was made up. It was a lot at the time, you know, in 2014.
Yeah. It'd be a lot now. Music scene
Still
doesn't
be
really
a lot
pay
now.
well.
Yeah. It was even more lot left. It was even more then because, you know, cost of living now, everything's went skyrocketed. So you could get a burger for 80p out of Mackey's.
And do you find that when you finish the busking session that you come home and you've got a load of new Instagram followers or a load of new TikTok followers and all that? Like people walking past, hearing you, checking you out, and then going online?
Yeah, I think so. There was one time someone who was like a Liverpool player. I couldn't tell you who, I'm so sorry, which is really bad. But they weren't a Liverpool player, it was their dad.
Right.
Anyway, and their daughter was like, she had 1 million followers, but she was like she was like a Liverpool player, but a kid. That makes no sense.
Oh, what? She's in the academy then?
I think so. She must be in the academy, but she had like 1 million followers, and they put me on their story, and I literally gained like 500 followers off it. That was crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just shows, doesn't it? The more you put yourself out there.
Yeah, people just follow, and I always have like a little QR code with all these socials on, so people follow and stuff like that. Cool.
And then you got a lot of exposure. It was last year, wasn't it, when you went on The Voice?
Yeah, in November.
What was that like?
That was fun. I really enjoyed The Voice, I've got to say. Like, it was stressful. Any TV show like that is. I did X Factor a few years prior, and it didn't go quite as well as when I did The Voice. It was a bit of a bad experience, but I've got to say The Voice was a lot better, and I feel like they care about you a lot more on The Voice. But everyone knows the X Factor was bad now anyway. Even Sharon Osbourne was saying not so nice things about her on Big Brother the other day. So I feel like
they've also turned on each other, haven't they? I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not getting involved with that side of the music industry. Like,
don't get involved.
Yeah. But I've seen your audition on The Voice.
You saw it?
Yeah.
I was so nervous.
First of all, obviously it's really good. Like, there's a
Thank
reason
you.
why you had three judges fighting each other.
Oh, thank you.
Is that quite surreal to see? Because who was it? It was Tom Jones, Ollie Murs, and
No, it was all of them. So it was Tom, Ollie, Anne-Marie, and Will.i.am. Um, but it was just mad because you're not expecting any of them to turn. You're like, in my head, I was just bracing myself for the worst because you don't know how it's going to go. I almost feel like doing a show like X Factor or Britain's Got Talent would be less daunting purely for the fact you can see their reaction and you can have a little chat with them beforehand. So that's going to unnerve you a little bit. But when you literally go onto a stage and you've got four chairs all turned and you don't know if they're going to turn, and in your head you're thinking, oh my God, this is going to be on national telly. Millions of people are going to watch this. They might not turn, and that's going to be really embarrassing if they don't turn. It's like all those things going on in your head. Like, it's so much. And then you've got a live audience there as well. I remember when Will.i.am turned, I went off key because I got frightened that he turned. And so I wasn't expecting him to turn. No, no, I was like, oh yeah, you've turned around. Okay, I can breathe a bit. You literally see me on the video go like that with my chest as if to say, okay, I can relax a bit now. I've got through. I'm not going to have to do the walk of shame off the stage and go, oh, I didn't get through.
such a surreal thought though to be stood there and you've got these people that you've probably never met in real life and you've only ever seen them on TV and they're all saying like, oh, come to me, come to me, come to me, join my team, join my team.
And it's so weird because like you've got the audience shouting at you and then you've got them being like, oh, come to me. And yeah, it's crazy. It's nice though. It was a nice experience. I can't lie, having four amazing, like, successful artists saying that they love me and they want me to be on their team made me ego quite big. I was like, oh, my head will be too big walking out this room in a minute. But no, it was all good. It was good.
It just tells you that you're in the right industry, doesn't it? Because I mean, I know a lot of artists who, no matter where they get to, no matter how far down the road they get, they always have that kind of imposter syndrome of,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just faking this. I'm not as talented as everyone thinks I am. But when you've got four stamps of approval like that, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I think it did help me in that respect because I think I always suffered with doubting myself and like not believing in myself as much. And I feel like it has helped me confidence a little bit because oddly people be like, how can you think that? Because you're so good. And that's subjective. Literally, TikTok tells me that's subjective all the time. I get so many weird comments, but yeah, like it does kind of, in a weird way, validify that, okay, I am doing something right. And like, I'm not crazy and I'm not like just like wasting my life doing this. Like there's something I must be okay at what I'm doing. So it is nice.
Yeah. And I'll just explain for people who maybe haven't checked it out yet. You've recently collaborated with us on this channel
Yes.
for a music video
Yes.
for your single "Don't Want to Know," which has been out since, was it the end of last year you put it out?
I brought it out September of last year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And we've recently collaborated on a music video which we're going to put up.
Yeah.
I'm going to
It was
release it on
so
the same
fun.
day as this episode. So if
Yes.
you're watching this episode, it's already out. Go and check it
Yeah.
out in the
Go and
link.
check it out.
I'm proud of it. I don't know how you feel.
I love it. I really, really love it. I was like so blown away. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm so excited.
Really happy with how it turned out because there was a bit of experimenting, with all the mirrors and all the lights and all the effects
Yeah.
we tried to get. We weren't sure until we did it. We weren't 100% sure how it would look, but
It looked ace. I'm super happy with how it came out, especially because we had so little time to kind of execute it as well. I think we did a really good job, if I do
yeah,
say so myself.
you were excellent, I have to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Again, my head will be like this when I walk out this room in a minute.
I wanted to ask as well because it was kind of shot in two locations, and I
Yes.
stayed behind at the first location because I had to help pack everything up.
Yeah.
You and Dan, who's the other half of the channel, went down to the docks.
Yeah.
He told me about something that was happening off camera.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to talk about
Bas-
it?
yeah, basically, like we were all so happy filming down on the Albert Dock. My boyfriend come with me as well because he was like getting some stuff for my socials. And like me, Dan, and Tom, we were all down there, just literally just past the pump house by the Maritime Museum. And then like these lads in balaclavas who must have been, they were kids, they were like 14. they would like all come on these bikes and like literally just like surround this one kid who had another balaclava on. They looked like they were ready to like do something. We were all shitting ourselves. We were like, are we about to witness something here that we do not want to witness? And then like I think he was like, I'm not who you think I am. No, I'm not I'm not who you think I am. You don't know who I am. And then they realized he wasn't who they thought he was, and then they all just scarpered. It was so weird. We were all like, I was in shock. I was like, what the hell?
Weird.
Crazy. Especially like, I don't agree with all these youths, you know, like I used to work in a youth club and that, and you don't know these days, especially with what's happening in the city, like some kids are carrying knives and stuff. I think it was quite jarring, to be honest, to like have that happen, because we were just thinking, oh my God, what is going to happen with these kids? It could have literally went one way or the other with how they were all surrounding him. And it just comes to show like kids don't realize what they're doing in that sense. They think they're being hard with the balaclavas and carrying knives on them. But if they did have a knife or something and something was to happen, that literally could have, again, it could have been something horrific that happened in this city. And it wasn't nice. But yeah.
You don't see that much of it in Liverpool. Like, unfortunately, it's got a bad reputation, I think. But
I think we do.
It is rare. Yeah.
I don't think it's as rare as people think. We've had a lot, and it is an issue this city's got is youths with knives. I like got, you know, that poor young girl a few years ago who passed away, Ava White, just in town at Christmas. Literally got stabbed by kids their age, and I think some of these kids don't realise the impact they're having when God, it's turned into a lecture real quick, this, but it is important to say, like, I think that's why the L5 Alive thing is such a massive campaign in the city, because it does happen, and kids just don't realise, like, what they're doing and the impact. I think they do realise the impact, but they think they're untouchable and that nothing's going to happen to them, and it's wrong.
It's a fantasy, 200%. Isn't it? It's like gangster lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh, well. It's, shame. Yeah, bad.
But you were professional. You carried on.
We carried on. We got it done. We got the job done.
I'm really happy with it. I'm excited for people to see it.
I'm excited. I think it'll be really cool.
And so what's next for you then? You mentioned already that you've got an EP in the works.
I've got another EP in the works, and then I've got some singles coming out this year off of that EP. So yeah, I've got my next single coming out in April, the end of April, early May. Pending. Well, everything's done. The track's done. It's just I need to get like the music video done and the lyric video and all the promo bits done. So it's just doing that now. I mean, the artwork's done. I just need to go and do like a photo shoot and stuff for some promo pics. But yeah, exciting. I'm really excited about this one. It's very, very different to what I've done before. Almost teetering in the dance zone. But I'm really super proud of it.
That's cool. Do you enjoy all the promo stuff away from making music?
I think it's the fun part of it. It's like being creative. Like for me, I love music videos. I'm an artist who really does heavily do music videos. And if I can do it and spend money on it, I will, because I think it just gives you that almost visual aspect, which I love. I love creating music videos and ideas for them and scenarios. And like, it's another way of expressing your artistry as an artist. And I love that so much. So getting to do another music video is always the best.
I know some artists who really hate it.
They hate it.
Yeah,
I love it so much. Music videos.
No, I either want to be in the studio or on the stage, and anything in between is wasted time.
See, I feel like I love being on the stage and like doing the video stuff. It's my fave. Love it so much.
I'm excited to see what you do.
Thank you. I'm excited to see how it all unravels.
Great. All right, we'll leave it there because I know you're busy. Thanks so much for doing this.
Speak to you soon.
Yeah, speak to you soon. And I'll just one more reminder for people: check out the video for
yes.
Don't Want to Know. It's in.
Yes.
It's
Don't Want to Know. In the link.
Down here.
Down here.
All right. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Bye bye.